What if the most beautiful moments of your life were not given to you, but created by you? I sat at Christmas, waiting for the magic to come, but it didn't. So Christmas has been decreasing, I've noticed, in magic the last, like since I was a kid. When I was a kid, like for many people, many fortunate people, but not everyone I know, Christmas is magic, pure magic, where you wait for Santa, you have waited a whole month, you have counted down in the calendar, and it all builds up to a big climax where really it is so much going on at the same time, where everyone is gathered that you love, mostly everyone are gathered. And for me, those are some of my best memories ever, where even the Christmas or the day before Christmas, where my father had vacation and me and my siblings and mom and dad were decorating the Christmas tree, all in the living room where we had a fireplace, and there was plenty of candy already with this julmust, this Christmas soda that we have at least in Sweden. And earlier on the day before decorating, we went out as a tradition, also me and my dad and my siblings, to gather a Christmas tree from the woods because we lived in a countryside. And it was such a magic feeling. It was maybe it's because I only remember the white Christmases, but it felt like I remember it as it was always white Christmases before when I was little, and all of this togetherness and this beauty also all around with the snow and bringing arguably the most beautiful thing in nature into your home, a tree, and you make it even more beautiful with lights and decorations, stars, glitter, and those special handmade, arguably ugly decorations that my siblings and I did in school because our teachers had us do it. And I always had this feeling that I wanted to put every decoration into the tree. Nothing needed to be left out, and the more the better, sort of. And not mentioning mom decorating the home with red curtains and all these types of lightings and that stuff. And the smells from Christmas are very special. There are certain spices that you use, for example, in gingerbread and that stuff. And we usually made not yeah we made gingerbreads at some points as well, but but mostly mom created something called iced chocolate and these, yeah, I don't remember the name, but these who stick in the teeth really much. But yeah, I could go on how much climactic elements there are with all the good stuff at Christmas and around Christmas. And yeah, a big pointer that I'm gonna bring up, I think, in parts of this coming story here is the music, where we usually played two or three traditionally used CDs of music that we had, and everyone was happy. And what I recently learned about joy, by the way, as one of many emotions, is that it shuts out temporarily all other emotions, which can be relieving for people, and definitely was. But years go by, and we get used to it. People get used to it. The kids grow older, and there's not that many who believe still in Santa, and that stuff. So now when we're all enclosing our 30s, the siblings and I, and even my dad has started to really admit that he doesn't even like Christmas, which was a bit shock to me because of how happy he was or seemed when we were little. But I guess that was an exception. It could have been an exception, when circumstances are what they are. But anyways, I feel that in myself, I'm trying to hold on to this feeling, and I want it and I sort of have always expected Christmas to bring up these good memories and create this precious experiences as again and time again, and I've noticed that for every year that goes by, it's slightly less magical. And I guess first now it is starting to become noticeable. And this last Christmas, where to begin with, the honest emotional experience that I had is that, and I say emotional because not psychological, because I understand things, but that doesn't mean you feel other things. So I felt that it was a little bit sad now when I thought of it, that the family is so split up due to natural reasons, like a separation between mom and dad, which happened when, a long time ago, half a life ago for me now. But then now also my siblings, they have their own families, which they take turns and celebrate it with their partners' families every other year or so. But it results in, like for example, on Christmas Eve, my sister wasn't there and my dad wasn't there. And it is understandable that it is hard to recreate that exact beautiful memory, of course. But you think that, Christmas could always be Christmas, and we just have to wait and see, and it will come. The feeling when the clock hits close to 3 before the child's TV that everyone in Sweden watches simultaneously at 3 p.m. Because also the expectations might increase a little bit now when my brother, he has a child who is 3.5, and you think that maybe now the magic will automatically appear again, because there is some truth to that the children make the Christmas. But I sat there, even the day before, I didn't really feel so much, but I tried, drinking some glögg, which is apparently mulled wine. We put some raisins and almond in it, peeled almond. But I don't eat sugar nowadays, and I don't drink alcohol except for rare occasions, really rare. So I guess there was no external helpers for getting some sort of high and fabricated joy there nowadays for me the last years. So I sort of depend on something more. I haven't been quite sure what I've been dependent on now for creating or experiencing Christmas in the most magical way. But I will reveal soon how I realized it and what happened. But Christmas Day came. Oh well, not so fast. Christmas Eve, I think I was sending some texts to a couple of chosen friends. Didn't actually get a response from some of them, which was a little bit sad. And I got just pretty stiff texts, responses and stuff from some of my friends. And I got some nice also, I guess. But there was this contrast from my memories where I was filled with this full Christmas magic, even up in my 20s and stuff, where I spread that with sending text to everyone and getting what I seemed as really filled texts back and feeling some love, some extra love. So Christmas Day came when my sister and her family could gather. So now it was, at least we were almost full gathered. I mean, my dad wasn't there, of course, but so I thought, okay, now maybe the Christmas feeling might come when we are gathered, because people, that is a big component, right? Having most of your family there. But we ate really good food, and we sat down, and there was snacks, and we were socializing and delivering Christmas presents to each other and the kids especially, which was beautiful. But I noticed one thing there, that I was sort of waiting for everything to come, and I even waited for the music that we always put on before. Or when I say we, I suppose that it was my mom or someone who took the initiative to it, and thereby just perpetuating the tradition. But this year that didn't come. I mean, I think she forgot it, and it was for probably good reasons, but the it was interesting how I then got the internal gift from that, to realize that, well, sometimes when I do nothing, if not every time I do nothing, the magic that I seek personally has a low chance of manifesting. But I also took the opportunity to feel into what I felt where that occurred, where I felt that, oh, these people around me I have taken for granted, that just because they were part of my best memories, or are part of my best memories, that doesn't mean that their image of what this beautiful experience was is the same as mine. You know, people experience different things in the same events. It's the classic psychological or philosophical statement that the color red isn't the same for me as it is for you, probably. But so I felt into my emotions, and I felt a little sadness, yes, and I felt a little loneliness there, in the realization of that, oh, maybe I am alone in my beautiful memories. Where are the people that actually share that with me? Those beautiful memories, you know, and desires, actually. Psychologically, I understand that it was probably some circumstances here that framed this experience in a way for me to experience it that way emotionally, for a reason. So this was a turning point where I started to look within again, and I pretty quickly realized that, oh, where's my part here in the creation? And so I went up and I put on the music that I wanted to hear, that I thought, that I know that we had as a tradition, and the response wasn't necessary in this case, but I think my mom got happy when I put it on. It seemed so, and that she had forgotten it, but I still had to sit with my feelings and ponder what was going on here and what was the bigger lesson, and I came to some conclusions where I realized only me hold the keys to my own vision, to my dream reality. And let me explain better. I had misunderstood these beautiful, loving memories from my past, which doesn't only include Christmas, but in this story it is about Christmas. But it could be any memory where I really felt super joyous and happy, and the memories that I cherish the most loving memories. And I had thought that they were based of outer circumstances, the common problem, which may make me think of also the previous video, or one of the previous videos I made about confidence, and what I realized after 33 years about happiness and confidence. But yeah, anyways, that was also about thinking that things were external. But so there's clearly a pattern there, you know. And patterns, by the way, are things to notice, or the piece of the puzzles, or the pieces of the puzzle of life. But anyways, in this case, I had wrongly believed that the warmth from these memories came from the exterior, from it had to be that the perfect constellation of people and food and all of those things that were sort of created for me, even by my parents. Hashtag growing up. Those exact mental pictures that I have gotten, they are very personal. And I noticed this through this last Christmas, where if they were not that unique to me, all of the other people would have, in my family, would have thought the same way I did, or wanted the exact same thing that I wanted. But that is clearly not the case, you know, in life. Obviously, maybe now it's getting more obvious. But so, like, a metaphor would be an ember. It is an ember that I carry, and I can lit new fires anywhere, obviously, but not so obvious. But I will get to how I mean even more. You could also say, as a metaphor of playing as a band, in a band, music, or maybe not playing in a band, and just waiting for someone to play your music that you have within, or waiting for someone to play the music that you wrote, that is clearly not so smart when it's only you who know what you want to play, what you feel inside. How can someone possibly know? And what it becomes now when I realize this is that in the band metaphor, it becomes perfect where the family in this case is the band and everyone plays their part. Hopefully, I mean, in the best scenarios, everyone can access and reach and then try to create their inner beauty out with and jam with each other. I don't know if for those of you who know what it is to jam in music with someone is, and some people, is that you yourself have some sort of inner feeling of what you wanna create. You have this, yeah, I wanna play like this, but you also listen to your surrounding and you hear what they create and you sort of match it a little bit to that, and obviously the same rhythm and the same tone or scale or what it's called, but you play it in your way and you mix and match it and it becomes this song, which is even better than if you yourself would play just one instrument alone at Christmas, you know. So it's very much this co-creation, but I guess the point of it is that well, I know that I am this sort of visionary where I have this strong feeling of what I want to create in the world and stuff like that. So maybe it's just me or those like me who feel that and would be similar to to a musician who has songs inside of himself, but just sits and waits for others to create those songs. I feel a little guilty to that sometimes, actually, where for years, I felt that music, like actual music, there isn't perfect actual music that exists to me. Maybe that's a hint of that I should start creating music sometime for my own sake. So on the metaphors of music here, what I came up with also is that what we should do with is nostalgia, those beautiful memories, instead of seeing nostalgia as most people, where it's something bittersweet from the past that you can't get back often, and this negative connection to nostalgia where it's something that you can't get back. What we should do instead is take all of these memories and put them in a sample bank. And in music terms, that is what they mean by sample bank is they put, especially electronic music creators, they collect samples of, some even take samples with their microphone from nature and put it all in a library of some sort, and so that they can use it then when creating their songs. And in this case, when it comes to beautiful memories, put these as that in the same way, where they are like nuggets that you can pull up when you want to co-create something with others or create something by yourself, because you have access to those and it's only you who have it. Those beautiful samples of the soul, sort of, that you can make a sample bank of the soul, maybe you could say. And like I said, it doesn't have to be only Christmas, of course. It's for me, it's also, I can have, an easy target would be New Year's Eve, where me and my father and his friend and my brother went to the neighbor, and we had a guys only sauna, and they even bathed in the ice water, my father and his friend, but we ate sort of dried reindeer meat, and sort of just a beautiful memory, you know, of pure joy. By the way, a little side note, because I'm reading about emotions. Joy is really interesting because joy only comes in its exact form of joy is because it's different from happiness and from contentment, but joy is something that you get from when you have worked hard, actually, but then succeeded with something and there's contentment, but then you also, if you gather in sort of it has to do with sort of feeling at one with circumstance and a surrounding. But anyways, there's even memories from gaming where I played Skyrim for the first time, and it was sort of this being at one with. So it was joy probably, where so many people were playing it, even when you went out on the bar with friends and met other new people, and they were playing Skyrim, some of them, and even though it's a single player game, so it was sort of this connective thing also in a sense, and as a that I could put and I have put now as a sample of the soul in my bank of it is sort of this beautiful nostalgic memory of being this hero warrior in first person with your swords or anything, and you have everywhere to go. It's so much to explore, and it's such a big world, and you know that you can tell about your experience to your friends later and people on the bar, and you choose your unique path, the way you want to develop as a hero. Do you want to use this kind of magic there and this sort of weapon, and or don't you want to fight at all, etc. Sort of this freedom, which easily such a memory can become sort of a negatively loaded one where you sort of even maybe feel shame of or this loneliness where because of when you try to recreate that, if that's your programming, that you think that the nostalgia is only good if I can recreate the exact thing with the exact parts, and then that becomes negative now when I really don't want to go back to such a dead game now and be alone, and and that can be bittersweet at best if you have these type of thoughts where it is sort of a memory where you can't re-experience that again, or you desperately search for an external new type of similar game where you can experience hopefully that same experience again. But like I say, with this other realization here is that is a good sample of the soul. I can just extract it and see what were the nice parts of these memories. In this one, it was, like I said, the communion and the freedom to explore and to choose your own path and stuff. Wow, that is something that I personally love, and the way I see it with the imagery that I have saved for it will help me remember it. That is valuable, actually. And that's how you can put it in a bank like that, maybe. And I guess some people create art of these types of things. That's maybe what many people do. They save a cherished moment. Not a bad idea. Painting a picture or making a song, writing a poetry or making a movie like I do now. And with the New Year memories, it was probably also the communion with the heat and the cold and all the closeness to nature. Okay, that is something that I cherish so much, and I can have that with me when I meet people again and have the opportunity to do something similar or not even similar. I can just browse in my bank of what is most important to me. And even when going into relationships, I think it's very important to know what you want and what you need so that you can jam with other people and see, okay, do you want something similar? Oh, fine, that's awesome. And oh, wow, this is new, and the new things that you jam with people, they also even can create new nuggets, new samples for the soul that you can put in the bank. Amazing. And the Christmas, what is it that I like there? Well, I like the abundance and the sort of universal, or at least Christian universal, I suppose, and hedonic gatherings around Yule or Christmas, where everyone is so focused on kindness. That is very amazing. I think it creates this high vibe and the beauty of creating something so light when it's so dark here in the north, especially. And what does that mean in me? Well, that I love somewhere inside. I love this oneness. It's very spiritual, I think, where you can experience oneness with more than your family or your partner, that stuff. That sort of oneness, which I cherish personally. I feel it's amazing when I see a universe or an earth where, again, visionary, seeing it as we are finally above the unnecessary drama and suffering. Sort of those paradise thoughts that are beautiful, and once again, it can get problematic, and when you sort of think of it in the wrong way, and but that's impossible, utopia, and those are just childish naivety. But once again, you take just those things that you want and cherish. They can be used for creating the smallest things as well. It's not a bad idea to, for example, just have that I just mentioned, cherishment for peace on earth or paradise on earth with you, and for example creating a song that would probably create a pretty ascendant song of some sort, that you wouldn't stop when creating the song before you feel the same way that you feel when you think in those terms, and therefore to a lot of people they would sort of probably draw from the feeling that music holds, actually. Probably goes with any art, that a lot of people would be able to immediately, with a physical and emotional intelligence that are so much older than our mental, just understand what I feel and be inspired maybe and stuff like that. So a quote or two quotes that are related here are one from Carl Jung. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. And the other one is from Buddha. No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. So just to make this a little simple for you and for me to remember and stuff, I put it into 5 steps, simple steps of how to practice this maybe. And if you make this shift, the list of benefits are these, including not reduced to self-love and better self-relationships, freedom from dependency on others to create your happiness, ability to create beauty anywhere, anytime, deeper self-knowledge about what truly resonates, and you can feel complete in yourself and part of something even more beautiful with others, and create your dream reality using the keys that only you hold. So number 1, notice and hold on to the feeling from beautiful memories, not the exact image. 2, identify the essence. What was it about that moment that resonated? 3, collect these as samples of the soul. 4, use them as a guiding star, not something to recreate exactly. 5, contribute your light while co-creating with others. And if you just want a quick win, something to just do right away instead, or also, is to pick one nostalgic memory and identify the feeling / essence, not the circumstances. Start a simple list of samples of the soul. And a little bonus tip here to leave you with, I just can't help including some human design sometimes, because when I say that you can create your reality, I've found it very helpful to look at some human design on your chart and see in what type of way, what is your inner authority according to that, because that tells if you're the one who's supposed to, and also the strategy of the aura type, if you're the one who is supposed to just, you can go straight from feeling to action, or are you a more responsive person who can see from your, sort of in a band, like if someone plays up, you can respond to that, or if you're the one who leads stuff like that. There's some interesting ways to look that up, and if you actually, if you want, we can set up a free call and I can tell you the basics of human design just for fun. I'm not an expert on it yet, but I have actually a decade of casual study in it. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, I've found it to be very helpful for many things, to just, with grains of salt, of course. But anyways, thank you for watching, and have a really nice weekend and stuff. So bye.